Okay, hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Afifuddin Shah and I'm going to present about the types of production centrifuge. Okay, so for the introduction, centrifugation, or also known as sedimentation, is a separation method of molecules that have different densities by rotating them in solution inside a centrifuge rotor at high speed. This process used to collect cells, to precipitate DNA, to distinguish subtle differences in the conformation of molecules, and also to purify various particles. Okay, so this process has been used in many industries and industrial to use intense centrifugal force generated by mass rotation. Industrial centrifuge generally used for large-scale fluid separation applications. Okay, some example of production centrifuge are tubular bowl centrifuge, disc stack centrifuge, and also basket centrifuge. Okay, so for the first example of production centrifuge is tubular bowl centrifuge. Okay, tubular bowl centrifuge consists of bowl specifically designed slow acceleration motor and it spins at 50,000 RPM that can generate centrifugal force of 16,000 times the gravitational force. The liquid mixture enters the nozzle of the centrifuge placed at the bottom base of centrifuge. Then the centrifugal force will act on the liquid base based on their specific gravities, which the lighter liquid forms the inside layer and heavier liquid forms outside layer toward wall to bowl. Okay, so as the liquid mixture enter continuously inside the centrifuge, two phases are discharged continuously from two separate holes on top portion of the bowl. Okay, throughout clarification job, one discharge hole of the continuous discharge on clarified liquid is possible. Okay, so the picture on the left side shows how the tubular bowl centrifuge look like in the real life, and the other picture shows the process inside the tubular bowl centrifuge. So we can see the yellow liquid at the middle of the centrifuge is the liquid mixture, which is will be enter the centrifuge from the nozzle at the bottom of the centrifuge. Then we can see the green liquid and the orange liquid separated, which the green liquid is heavy liquid and the orange liquid is the light liquid. Tubular bowl centrifuge has been used in pharmaceutical industries, chemical industries, food industries, and also in biodiesel plant. This type of centrifuge always been used for bacterial cell suppression, biomass suppression, and purification of lubricating containing sedimentable solids. Okay, so tubular bowl centrifuge has its own advantages and also disadvantages. So for the advantages of tubular bowl centrifuge, it has high centrifugal force and is easy to clean. It's also good dewatering and simple dismantling of bowl. For the disadvantages, it has limited solids capacity and difficult in recovery of solids. It also will pressure skimming or centripetal pump was used. Okay, the next example of production centrifuge is disc stack centrifuge. Okay, so disc stack centrifuge consists of vertical stack of thin discs in the shape of cone. The sedimentation takes place in the radial direction in the space between adjacent cones. That will reduce the settling distance and therefore increase the rate at which the material is separated. The angle of the cones is specially designed so that upon reaching the inside surface of the cone, the heavier material slides down along its surface. This centrifuge usually runs continuously. Process enters in one stream and is separated into two purifying streams. Okay, so the picture on the right shows how this stack centrifuge look like in real life, and the other picture shows the process inside this stack centrifuge. We can see that the feed enter from the top of the centrifuge, and we can also see the inside the centrifuge, which is the function is to separate the solid and the liquid. And there are the nozzle for thickened suspension discharge on both sides of the centrifugal on the this stack centrifuge. So this stack centrifuge is used primarily for the separation of liquid, in which the solid or immiscible components take place in relatively low concentration. Example of this stack centrifuge is used in dairy industry for separating cream from milk. This centrifuge is also used for the purification of fuel oil, the reclamation of used motor oil, and the removal of soap stock in the refining of vegetable oils. Okay, so these are the advantages and disadvantages of using this stack centrifuge. For the advantages, solid discharge is possible, and liquid discharge under pressure will and it is possible for bowl cooling. Okay, so the disadvantages of this stack centrifuge is it is difficult to clean and poor dewatering. Okay, the last example of production centrifuge is basket centrifuge. Basket centrifuge, also called as centrifugal filters or clarifiers. It has a hole wall and cylindrical it also uses centrifugal force to stimulate liquid solid separation. Okay, so the feed slurry is introduced into the rotating basket and is accelerated to the basket speed. So solids or contaminants are separated away from the liquid by centrifugal force and gathers along the inner wall of the basket. Then the clarified liquid builds up along in the inside and flows up and over the basket wall. For this type of centrifuge, automatic and semi-automatic is available for suitable solids consistency. Okay, so this picture on the left side shows the inside of the basket centrifuge, which we can see there is a hole on the wall of the inside of the basket centrifuge. And the other picture shows how the process inside the basket centrifuge. So we can see the dashed line present the whole wall of the inside basket, and the arrow show the path of the liquid, which the liquid will pass through the inside wall, and only the solid will collected on the inside wall of the basket centrifuge. Okay, so basket centrifuge always been used in the manufacture of canned sugar, in the house and laundry drying of clothes. It also been used in the washing and drying for many kinds of crystal and fibrous material. And actually, washing machine is actually an example of centrifuge. example of basket centrifuge. Okay, so basket centrifuge also have its own advantages and also disadvantages. So the advantages, solid can be washed well, and large solids holding watering. For the disadvantages, is not suitable for soft biological solid, and there is no solid discharge for the basket centrifuge, and it is also difficult for recovery of solids. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation, and I think that's all from me. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.